Ladies and gentlemen, this is DVP World. You're watching another edition of Break the Fake, where we debunk fake news and combat false narratives. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and let's get rolling. Let's kick things off with a little bit of turbulence, and not the kind caused by bad weather. We're talking about Russian aviation, or what's left of it. Ever since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, Ukraine's airspace has been locked tighter than the Soviet archive. Martial law, no civilian flights. But Russia, the country that started the war, well, no martial law, business as usual. People still flying in and out, sipping their tomato juice and pretending everything's fine. At least they were, until the skies started biting back. On July 6th, Russia's Federal Air Transport Agency hit the panic button. Hundreds of flights were canceled across Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Nizhny Novgorod after a wave of Ukrainian drone attacks, or as the Kremlin calls them, weather anomalies with propellers. The numbers? 287 flights grounded in one day. And the night before, the Kremlin's Ministry of Defense claimed it shot down 120 drones. Sounds like they were playing a nationwide game of whack-a-mole with UAVs. And then came the big one. Between July 6 and 7, 485 flights canceled, 1,900 delayed, and 43,000 refunds, 94,000 stranded passengers stuffed into hotels, and 350,000 snack packets handed out like consolation prizes. Welcome to the Russian airport, where your flight might not take off, but your blood pressure definitely will. But wait, Aeroflot, Russia's flag carrier, wasn't done crashing and burning. On July 28th, their entire IT system face-planted. Technical difficulties, they said. Translation? They got hacked. Flight scrapped, schedules torched, and the airline doing what it does best these days, circling the drain. Enter Silent Crow, a pro-Ukrainian hacker group that doesn't just hack, they haunt. Now, together with Belarusian allies, the Cyber Partisans, they claim to have infiltrated Aeroflot's internal systems for over a year, turning a cyber attack into a full-blown IT squat. Now, they allegedly tore through servers, accessed flight data, and even got into the computers of top management. Just imagine, you're the CEO of Aeroflot, and suddenly Clippy from Microsoft Word speaking Ukrainian and leaking your emails. According to the Silent Crow, they wiped out 7,000 servers. Yep, 7,000. That's how scorched earth they went. Industry experts say that even a few days of cancellations can rack up losses of over $250 million. For Aeroflot, it's not just a back order, it's a crash landing with the wings ripped off. And no one's coming with a rescue boat. But let's zoom out. This isn't just one airline having a rough month. This is what happens when a regime prioritizes conquest over competence. Russia's aviation industry was already hobbling. No spare parts, no engineers, sanction biting like Siberian frost. Every flight was a gamble. Between the drones and the data breaches, they're giving a live demonstration of what happens when a country sanctions itself into turbulence. Russia's not just grounding planes, it's nosediving into isolation, dragging people along, trace table up, no landing in sight. The President of the United States has just set a new countdown clock on Russia's war in Ukraine. During a meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Scotland, Donald Trump announced a new deadline for Putin. Get serious or get lost.
I would have said 5 times we would have had a deal. I've spoken to President Putin a lot. I got along with him very well. But 5 times, and every time 4 times maybe, but we've had discussions, you and I have had discussions. Yeah. We thought we had that settled numerous times, And then President Putin goes out and starts launching rockets into some city like Kiev and kills a lot of people in a nursing home or whatever. You have bodies lying all over the street. And I say, that's not the way to do it. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm very disappointed. I'm disappointed in President Putin. Very disappointed in him. So we're going to have to look, and I'm going to reduce that 50 days that I gave him to a lesser number because I think I already know the answer what's going to happen.
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. No reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting. It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but we just don't see any progress being made.
According to Trump, 7,000 soldiers are dying every single week in the front lines. And while that figure hasn't been independently verified, it's a powerful signal. Trump said that we'll soon see if, quote, common sense will prevail, meaning if Putin's ready to make a deal or just keep feeding the grinder. Now, if you expected a thoughtful response from Moscow, sorry, wrong show. Instead, Russia wheeled out its favorite keyboard warrior, Dmitry Medvedev, the former president, current Security Council deputy chairman, and full-time doomsday blogger took to X to warn of a big war with the US. Medvedev's rebuttal wasn't so much geopolitical commentary as its caps lock tantrum. And this is nothing new. His feed read like a mashup of stale threads, teenage edgelord takes, and Soviet fanfiction. According to Dmitry, Russia has already crushed NATO, survived sanctions, and is halfway to planting a flag in Washington. Meanwhile, back in reality, they can't keep drones out of their oil refineries. The louder Medvedev screams, the quieter Putin stays, because when your empire strategy hinges on vibes and recycled slogans, maybe silent is the only thing left that doesn't sound ridiculous. If Russian diplomacy has been reduced to Medvedev's post on X, then the Kremlin might as well open a stand-up club, just don't expect the second set. Recently, Sergei Lavrov claimed that, quote, for the first time in history, Russia is fighting alone against the entire West. Really? Alone? Lavrov says it like Russia is the last action hero in a Cold War reboot, stoic, misunderstood, tragically noble. But the reality is more like a bad sequel with a bloated cast of co-stars that nobody asked for.
Дел у нас немало. Главное из этих дел, конечно, победить врага. Впервые за всю историю Россия воюет одна против всего Запада. В Первую мировую, во Вторую мировую у нас были союзники. Сейчас у нас союзников на поле боя нет. Поэтому полагаться надо на себя. Нельзя допускать ни слабости, ни слабины. И президент определил задачи, которые мы решаем на международной арене, но прежде всего на линии боевого соприкосновения. Эти задачи будут выполнены.
If this is fighting alone, then Lavrov should get his definition checked. Because somehow Russia's solo performance features North Korea sending over ammo, equipment, and soldiers so malnourished they look like extras from a war museum. Belarus is hosting drills and drone teams like it's trying to win a loyalty punch card, and then there's China pretending to be neutral while quietly shipping over drone parts, chips, and occasional citizen who end up captured in Ukraine. So no, Russia is not alone, it's just surrounded by the kind of friends who wouldn't tag you in photos. But Lavrov never let facts ruin a good monologue. His lonely Russia narrative is performance art at this point. Picture a banquet in a Kremlin. Dozens of loyalists nodding, Belarus playing waiter, North Korea passing around napkins made of propaganda, and China sitting in the back texting, "I'm not really here." The truth is, Russia isn't fighting alone, it's fighting with a crew so sketchy that even their own citizens aren't sure what they're doing there. They just don't like to admit it out loud, because nothing screams global superpower like needing Pyongyang to back you up. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.